this is one of the rare days, almost unprecedented, where my trading is right up there with my charting. Usually I suck as a trader. My charts are always awesome, but my trading skills not so much. Today, we got an A in both counts. Because on Friday, late in the day, I did some non-bearish things. I took profits on my big ETFs, and I went long in a big way SMH, the semiconductors, as a hedge, psychologically and financially. That worked great. And this weekend, and we're going to look at SMH, just bear with me. This weekend on Saturday, I did a post, and you can go to Slow, check it out if you want to see it for proof that I'm not making it up. I said, my projection is the SMH is going to go to 604.58, and then that'll be the target. Well, we did get to 604.58 today, and we went above it by 0.2%. So I think that's good enough to call that just about perfect. And just to show I'm totally insane, I took profits on the entire block of SMH, pushed back into shorts in a big way. I've got 35 positions now. And just to show I'm completely checked out, when it was at that level, I bought an irresponsibly large position of SOXS, the triple bearish leverage semiconductor. So yeah, I've lost it. We'll see if that blows up in my face or not. But this is a huge week. Last Friday was a big day. And we got SpaceX coming Friday. Good heavens. My SpaceX video has way more counts than usually I get like 200 views. This one has like 35,000 or something. So I'm going to make another one. I got some other ideas in mind to share about SpaceX. So we'll do that. All right. Now, I'll stop talking. We'll look at charts together. This is XLK. This is key. The trend lines have broken. It was so embarrassing for me for in recent weeks, like the giant headlines on the YouTube things would be like, record highs in the market, Tim's still shorting. It's like, this guy's a nut. But it's finally working out nicely. We've got those broken trend lines, and we've got new gaps we can work with. Here's XLK, one of the tech ETFs. And yeah, he's busted. And Wednesday's a big day too because of the CPI. So I'm not sure if this is going to, I hope that today is it, who knows, but we are below the trend line. That trend line is now resistance. So that's the thing to watch. I'm a little surprised. Well, no, I'm not. The NQ and the SMH were like dead on in terms of where I thought they would poop out. This is a pretty weak recovery, honestly. So S triple cube, which is ultra short ETF based on the cubes, is down naturally because we're having an up day, and the NQ's up, hundreds of points. But this sticks out like a sore thumb. This is really extraordinary. This is Friday was the first meaningful break we had in the market since March. It's a big deal and very welcome. I really appreciate it. VIX went up 40%, and it's a welcome change. Now, SMH was my fixation on Friday, and over the weekend, I was like completely wrapped up in this thing. And this trend line also, for the first time since the March bottom, broke, and it is now resistance. And we have been rallying mightily on this today. We're up almost 5%. This is exactly where I thought the thing would go. It is perfect from a charting perspective. I mean, yes, it's no Jim Cramer here. I mean, I'm not going to speak in vague generalities and like revise what I said in the past, or even better, say two things. It could go up, it could go down, and the next day it goes down. So you see, I'm a genius. No, to the penny, I said where it was going to go. And the trend line spoke to that. The topping pattern spoke to that. And it worked nicely. And so it's really gratifying to see that this simple chart of the SMH did so well. Because like I say, accuracy to a fifth of a single percentage point. And then I jumped into SOXS, which I had good luck with buying Thursday and selling on Friday. I sold it kind of prematurely, as I mentioned, on Friday, for those of you who happen to see me live. I sold overnight for like a 17% profit, and it like doubled that. it went up to like 35%. But it crunched down today. I mean, it closed at the high on Friday, just plunged back deep into where we were on Thursday. So undid all of Friday's gains and then some. But I got back in. And we'll see if that holds or not. Like I said, this is not like, ha, 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 I'm going to make a fortune. I could get blown up to pieces on this tomorrow. I do think the efficacy of the 17 victory peace deals we've had is sort of gone now. Finally, they're starting to not matter. And talk about, we're talking rapidly. We're doing important talks. People are like, whatever. No, you're not. And so that whole stuff is just like background noise. And now it's all about, oh my God, is this AI thing finally cracking? And I'll say this, and we'll be talking about SpaceX constantly for weeks to come, I'm sure. If SpaceX doesn't just knock people's socks right off their feet on Friday, it's going to send a chill down everybody's spine. I've said it before, I said it again. I would love SpaceX to have an amazing day. From a selfish perspective, a self-interested perspective, for the beloved Knight clan, SpaceX, rock and roll. Take it to $1,000 a share on Friday. I am not trying to say, oh, I hope the thing dies. No. The better it is for me. But I will tell you that if it opens kind of and closes weak, people are going to freak out. So anything except a superb day, like 50% rise on the day, people are going to flip. So something to watch for. Speaking of flipping, South Korea had a particularly bad Friday. I saw the triple leverage Koru fund was down like 50% in a day. So this has gotten smashed. So I hope I didn't say North Korea, South Korea. So it's gone up, 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 up. And then we went kablooey. And we're still pretty beaten down. And among those, and I'm still quite short, even though I went long SMH, I still held on to my Micron short, my AMD short, Intel puts, and so forth. So it's not like I dumped everything. I just had a hedge. But most of these are up, but they have only partly undone the damage from Friday. And more importantly, the core uptrends have been badly damaged, and we do have topping patterns in some important places. So here's AMD, and I fully expected today to hit my shorts to some degree, and that's what's going on. But like I say, I've got 35 different short positions. As I glance at my screen now, ES is green, NQ is green by hundreds of points, RTY is green, Bitcoin's very green, and yet most of my shorts are already red. I would go on to say, just in case anybody thinks I'm a perma bear, which I am, but I never say anything bullish. What about Bitcoin? This weekend, I said, I think we're in for a $10,000 rally. And this morning, they poked me out of bed at 5 this morning to do a little special segment. One of the gentlemen asked me about Michael Saylor's strategy. I'm like, it's a buy, because things have been beaten so badly. So it's not always blood and guts. Sometimes things are beaten down so hard. Yeah, I absolutely think Bitcoin is in a great position to rally back up to the lower 70,000s, at which time I will short the bejesus out of it. But things don't go down forever. Usually don't go down at all, right? Some other things I got cooking. GLW, Corning, still short this. I'm lazy. All I did is I recycled Friday symbols, but they're still very germane today. I thought since we didn't get symbols on Friday, we're gonna do them today. Make good. Here's Micron, up strong. Were it not for Friday, this would be a really dismal day for the bears, because these stocks are up 5, 6, 7%. In some cases 10, 15, 20%. But it's just a partial undoing of all that goodness that came about on Friday. In WDC, one of the chaps this morning asked me about this as well. This one's up 2%, but I'm still short it because we have so many gaps. Every single one of these has a gap between Thursday and Friday, and that gap is our friend. So I've tightened up stops all across the board. And Intel Intel's having a great. Intel is up 11% today. I've got more puts than you can shake a stick at on this thing. And that's okay. That's okay. Every single put I've got is profitable. Some of them to the tune of 50%. They're simple plays. These are long directional, just puts. I'm long puts. And I'm so nervous about time that even September is too quick for me now. I'm getting like November and January and so forth. So yeah, keeping the time risk really, really low. There ain't no theta decay here. Here's Bitcoin. This one was fantastic. This worked out beautifully. This is one of my, as I mentioned earlier, I usually stink as a trader. This was a good example of that because I called this marvelously. I mean, just it was the trade of the year. It was the trade of the year, best call of the year, and I made a few $1,000 off of it. Meh, shame on me. But some of you did great on it, I know. So congrats on that. We are bouncing now. We got down to just below 60,000. That psychological floor held strong, and we are starting to rally. Michael Saylor's, I'm sure, saying it's all over now. It's, you know, that was the bottom. That was the bottom for the moment, yes. Certainly not the bottom. I think next up is 40,000. I don't know when. I don't know if it's a few weeks from now, a few months from now, but I do think it's coming. I think 40,000 is the next level we're going to hit. BITI, which is the inverse Bitcoin, is in a beautiful inverted head and shoulders formation. We've got an island gap reversal on it today, no surprise, but I do think ultimately this thing is gonna just do great. And here is strategy, MSTR, which is having a good day, up about 6%. I saw that Saylor bought like $101 million worth of Bitcoin to add to his stash, something like that. As far as gold goes, GC, this is down about 1/3%. I'm kind of hoping it's stabilizing because I'm kind of getting a little fond of precious metals again. I actually I lost on palladium last week, but I gave it another go today. I bought palladium, PALL. We'll see if that holds or not. GLD, gold itself is up, weirdly. I guess that just has to do with the mismatch in how futures and the ETFs can work. The miners, GDX, down a little bit, about 1/3%. But you know, just not the brutal moves we're seeing in tech these days, either up or down. And the junior miners are up about 0.75%. Therefore, Dust, which is bearish on miners, has been doing pretty well lately and is up a little more right now. But I have not, except for the aforementioned palladium trade, I've not touched precious metals for a while. And here's silver, SLV, which is barely changed at the moment. But we'll see if we can find stability on those or not. I'm watching my time here. See if we can make the most of this. You know what? Let's skip about 6 symbols. We're just going to look at a few key items. We're going to jump down to Nvidia. This has pierced its former range. This is the range we were in for about 10 months or so. Let's really encompass it nicely right there. We tried to get out, were rejected, and then finally succeeded. Eased down, found support, rallied again, lower high. And then we're even deeper in that pattern. This is really stumbling. And you know, I read constantly, and one of the biggest themes, which nobody's talking about, but is so important, is all the Nvidia product just stacked up in warehouses, not getting used right now. It takes years for these data centers to get built. And Nvidia is making it easy as possible for the hyperscalers to buy this stuff, but they're not going to get deployed for a long while. And if that stuffed channel starts to affect sales, this thing is going to crumble amazingly fast. As far as bonds go, really happy with how things are going there. It's just tiptoeing in the right direction. The ZB is down about 0.31%. And TLT, against which I've got an insane number of November 2086 puts. Don't look directly in the lights. Ouch. Okay. Those are doing well too. So bonds are down, and the semiconductors are going my way. So it's all going well. So just in sum, Friday was a key day. A lot of important changes on Friday. Wednesday of this week is important because the CPI pre-market, and of course Friday, SpaceX. Psychologically, that may be the event of the year, or at least the first half of the year. So thanks for joining me. I'm glad I got to share some charts with you this time. And we will be back tomorrow, and hopefully SMH will behave itself. So see you then. Bye-bye.